And Joe, tell me again how many leads per day you're getting off of social media and TikTok?
So social media, TikTok, everything in general, between 10 to 20 leads per day.
Wow, that is unreal. What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 2. I have an amazing guest here today. Without any further ado, I would like to introduce you guys to Joe Vairo. Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Joe Vairo, how are you, man?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself this morning?
Doing good, doing good. Ready for a great episode here. I'm super excited for this one because I think so many people are going to get amazing value out of this episode, and I'm super excited. So tell me, man, this whole TikTok thing, how did you find out about it?
Yeah, I mean, that's, I pretty much built my business off of it now, but actually found out about TikTok like everyone else during COVID when everyone's sitting at home. And this is when, oh my goodness, what's the show with Carol Baskin and the other guy, Joe
Tiger
Exotic?
King? Yeah,
Tiger
Tiger.
King. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're watching Tiger King and you're doing the freaking challenges on TikTok. So at that point, I was like, oh, we're doing all these challenges, we're playing around with it. And I'm like, I wonder what you could actually do with this to make money instead of just stupid challenges. And that's where I got into it. I was like, all right, I'll start making some content and kind of treat it like a shorter YouTube. And it just took off from there.
Wow. And for those that you don't know, and couldn't tell by the title, this man right here is generating between 10 to 20 leads per day. This is real estate leads per day on TikTok. And that's just astounding. It's hard to even generate one lead, and this is from one source, which is phenomenal. So I guess, let's kind of bring it back to the beginning because, I love your branding, the QB, the quarterback. So you were an athlete growing up, and then you got recruited to play Division I football.
Yep. Yeah. So I pretty much played football my entire life and then went to college, played. I went to a D3 school at first just because I wasn't getting the looks I wanted for Division One. It was some D1 AA schools, and I didn't really want to do that. And my parents wouldn't let me go to JUCO. So I went D3 because education was still good and good football, and kind of did that route and just kind of felt like, all right, what else is out there? Like I was wondering after my sophomore year and decided to go ahead and make the transfer. This was before the transfer portal was like big, and ended up transferring to Troy, played football there. That was a lot of fun, completely different experience from Division Three,
Mm.
but kind of took all the lessons you learned from D3, apply them to D1, and then just like compound on it. And then after school, I was like, wasn't really getting looked at for anything in the NFL or any professional things. And I was like, I can go play in Canada or try to do something like that. But, you know, do I really want to do that? I love the game, but at the same time, didn't really know if I wanted to go and kind of go that route and spend my life doing that. So jumped into the business world, of course, during COVID. So it wasn't like the best timing for everything.
So you got your real estate license during COVID.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So that was everything online
yep,
completely. I mean, this is how I did school. So it wasn't as different for me, but I could definitely see for other people, it'd be a little bit different.
definitely. And you kind of were born into this, right? This real estate thing.
In a sense, yeah. I mean, not so much as like other people. Like my mom had her license for 5 years when I first got mine. And by no means was she like a top producer, top 1% in the state of Florida. She was just kind of doing it with her friends and kind of going off that sphere of influence that everyone talks about.
Mhm.
And when I got mine, I was like, oh man, we could just ramp this up that much more. Because if my mom's doing this and she's not really out there, not necessarily hustling, but just calling and grinding day in and day out on it, and she's still generating business and doing stuff, like we could just pour gasoline on this and just take off.
Absolutely. And I think that you have poured gasoline on your business, man. So that's awesome. And I want to go a little bit back to football because I think you've probably learned some great lessons that you learned from football and being an athlete and have applied that to your business. So what are some of those principles and things that you've learned from football that you've applied to your business?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I think number one, I think athletes in general make great business people and just, I wouldn't say workforce in general, but just entrepreneurs, just because number one, you're part of a team. So you have that aspect of it where it's not solely reliant on you. Like to build a great business, you need to rely on other people. Let's be realistic. You can't, solopreneurship has just kind of come into light because of AI and different things like that. But in order to build a great business and to be able to scale and really take off to where you want to be, you have to rely on great people, training, mentors, and be able to build people up. In doing so, I mean, I think football and athletics in general build an extremely great base because you struggle and you go through things and learn different lessons. Like I think the biggest lesson I learned from football is you can only control what you can control. So your effort, attitude, and body language. You come to work every day, you come to practice, workouts every day, controlling those three things, being the most high energy, most attention to detail, hardest working. You might not be the best at either your job or your position or even on the team, but if you come in and do that day in and day out, it's a compounding effect. Eventually you're going to get noticed. Eventually you're going to catch a break and things are going to take off for you. It's just a grind though. You're not going to get it overnight. It was like we were talking about earlier. You go to the gym and you bench Monday. Don't expect to go out there on Wednesday and now bench 315. That was the first time you ever benched. It's not going to happen.
No, it definitely won't.
Yeah. So it's just building that and just having that tenacity to also kind of adapt. Like think about it in a game. You could be running the ball all day long. If the dive play is not there, the dive play is not there. But in the fourth quarter, it could break. You still have to run it, but you also have to kind of adapt. Like they're giving you the outside. You got to take it. They're giving you the short throws. You got to take it. So it's just being able to adapt your business to the up and downs of the market, the changing of just everything that goes on. Like, for example, in the beginning, I was doing a lot of for sale by owners. But then when the market started to shift, you could sell for sale by owner in a day. And you didn't necessarily need an agent. And a lot of agents weren't really pushing them the right way and kind of showing them the value. So then I started kind of exploring other options like expired. They already wanted to work with an agent. They were doing different things, but for some reason it didn't work. So just being adaptable and being able to connect with people at the same time.
Awesome. And I kind of want to circle back to what you said about, kind of the delayed gratification, right? So it's like you're showing up to practice every day. And when you're showing up to practice, you're posting a video, you're posting on TikTok, you're posting on Instagram, you're posting on everything, YouTube shorts, you're on Facebook even, right? You're doing this, your practice every day, you're showing up, you're putting the effort in there. But you're not going to go down the field and, be a starter. If you're a freshman, you're not going to be a starter unless you're, you have that one off, right? Who's like a
Right.
monster, who's going to go and bench. And that's what I've seen like with going viral. Sometimes you just get that one little bit of freak of luck, but I would say 90% of us don't get that. It's probably even a higher percentage that just blow up and go viral. It takes a lot of practice. So I really like that because you've shown up, you've showed the effort. You're posting on all platforms multiple times a day, and that is the effort you need. So we're going to give you guys a roadmap on how you can start doing this and adding and implementing TikTok and social media into your business to generate leads in business. So let's go a little bit more into what you were telling me about consistency, but also consistency. Want to talk about what are the easiest kind of videos to make and to start with to be consistent?
Yeah, definitely. So we'll start with just the consistency part in general. I mean, with anything, you have to make it doable. You can't come out having never made a video and be like, I'm going to make 5 videos a day. Number one, you're going to get burnt out. Number two, you're going to run out of ideas. Like it's hard enough some days to make 2 videos. You sit there, I'm like, oh man, what am I going to make today? So like starting simple and just being able to compound and build on that is the biggest thing. Think of also like your niche. Obviously, you're not going to be able to work with every single person out there. You're not going to be able to attract every single person out there. But you have to kind of think what makes you you, what makes you special, and what are you good at? What helps you to attract people? What do you like talking about? Because just because you get a lead doesn't mean you're going to close it or they want to like move forward. Like you still have to nurture them and build that relationship because people want to work with people like that are their friends. They want to have a relationship with them. How many times you go in somewhere and someone asks you, hey, do you need any help? When you went in the Dick's to go buy a t-shirt and you don't know where it is, but you're like, oh, no, I've got it. And then you go back and ask them later. Same thing at like a car dealership. So if it was your friend, you're like, oh yeah, where's this? Or what is this? So being able to be a resource, but also be their friend at the same time goes a long way. So tying back into the consistency, for example, I do everything on Florida. So I like pretty much everything to do with Florida, but also like football. So football is my love pretty much. So I try to tie everything back into sports, try to tie it back into the Eagles. It's kind of hard with Florida, but
Oh, we know
it
there's
makes
a
it a
lot
little
of
bit
Birds
easier.
fans down there.
There are, but everyone we have a lot of Bills fans too, surprisingly.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, they're not as good, but that's neither here nor there.
No.
But it's a conversation starter, so it makes it easier for people to reach out. So in doing so, once you find your niche and what you kind of want to talk about and how do you want to be able to relate to people, then just find one type of video to talk about a day. Especially when you're first starting out, it makes it so much easier. So you could talk about living in certain cities within your city. So like, for example, I live in Fort Lauderdale. Within Fort Lauderdale, there's all like Fort Lauderdale is the major city, but in Broward County, there's plenty of cities that you could talk about, as well as little suburbs that you could talk about as well. So you can be like living in Coral Springs, living in Pompano, living in Deerfield, living in Lauderdale by the Sea, and then you can expand to Miami and everywhere else. So it just opens up the door. And now you started making the content. You're starting to see what's working, and you're just posting one a day, just one a day, every day, 7 days a week. We're not doing the only 5 days a week. Take the weekend off because people have to see you consistently. They're not seeing you because let's be realistic. Some videos in the beginning are going to get 100 views, 200 views. Not everyone's going to see it. Then you'll have that one that gets 5,000. Then you go back to the 200. So you just have to show them like you're out here, you're really doing it. Because how many people start something for a week, maybe a month, and don't finish it?
Mm.
So the more that you can kind of portray yourself as a figure of authority, and then you're out here doing it every single day, it just helps exemplify you and your brand that much more, as well as help connect with other people, because you never know who's going to see that one video. You just need one person to see it. All the views don't matter. You need one person to see it that wants to make a transaction happen today or build a relationship.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And I like what you were saying, the living in, because this is an idea you can start tomorrow at any business, regardless if you're in real estate, anything. You could be a roofer and you could be talking about, hey, here's living in Fort Lauderdale. Here's what you didn't know about, the damage to your roof from this that is local to Fort Lauderdale or Florida or anywhere where you are. You can tie everything back into what you're doing. So having a structure kind of see, I'm doing a video every day on TikTok. It's what is my mortgage payment? So what is my mortgage payment? I look at a house on Zillow, find something that's kind of cool, maybe a little quirky that might get a little bit more attention. And then I tell you at the end what the mortgage payment will be based off of a loan product I think that most people will try to use if they're looking to buy that house. So I'm looking at $270,000 homes. I'm looking at $1.9 million homes. So kind of giving that wide range and seeing what sticks, which one gets the most views, which one gets the most traction. And I've been doing this for the last several weeks. And out of all of those uploads, I've only really had one that has gotten a significant amount of traction. And this takes probably about an hour, sometimes even more out of my day to do. But I have a video that is my first one that's doing pretty well. I think we're at like 25,000 views as of this morning. All types of crazy comments. So it's working, man. It's working. I think a lot of this has to do when we connected and you giving me advice. So this is really solid stuff here. And one thing I want to ask you, and this is something that I'm curious about, because when we're getting these leads and people are interested, I think a lot of them are coming to the comments. They're like, wow, I want to buy in the next 6 months. This is really helpful. So like, do you have any sort of like comment moderation? Like, do you go through the comments, make sure that you're not missing anyone who might be interested in buying?
So in the beginning, I was trying to go through and answer every single comment. And then once you start making enough videos, like it's overwhelming. I can't open the TikTok app and not have 400, 500 plus notifications. So it's just like, I'm going to try to get to them all. But at the same time, like I'm dealing with current clients, I'm dealing with current relationships and other things. So it's kind of hard to balance. So I try to make it as easy and as simple as possible to get in touch with me, to make it no question about it. So I put my phone number and my email in my TikTok bio. I also have a link tree that links to my email, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat. I mean, if you want to get in touch with me, I'm not hard to find, as Deion Sanders says.
Yeah.
The YouTube's on there too. And then I also have a separate link on there on TikTok that'll also take you to my Instagram and my YouTube. And then I also have in my bio, DM me or get in touch if you have any questions. So I want to make it as simple as possible for them to kind of reach out. I thought about doing call to actions in my videos, but I feel like that was kind of too salesy because I'm not trying to sell anyone anything. I'm not trying to get anyone to do anything. I want them to reach out if they have a question. I want to be seen as their friend. I don't want to be seen as like, oh, that's the guy who's always trying to sell me a house. Like that's not who I am.
Yeah. And let me ask you this. When you do get a someone who calls you by, do you have a system or some sort of way to keep track of who's contacting you?
Yes. So in the beginning, I didn't because you couldn't really on TikTok you couldn't DM people. Now recently you can DM anyone, and it was kind of just weird. I was doing comments and things, but now I have an Excel spreadsheet, and I kind of put everyone in it who's ever touched base with me, how they touched base with me, what source, last time I talked to them, and then like follow up schedule for them or what they're looking for. So there's one where it's just like new leads, and it's a whole sheet on its own. Where we're not really ready, but we've talked. Then I have another one where like we've talked, they're interested, they have a certain area kind of thing that they're working on, and then whether they've been pre-approved or under contract, things like that. So usually first thing I do is after I talk to them, try to get an idea of where they're looking, how soon they're looking, and if they're ready to just maybe have a conversation with a lender like yourself. Just because this way, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I went on Rocket Mortgage, I can afford up to a $600,000 home. Well, yeah, I went on there too, and then I got pre-approved, and mine was 300, completely different. So it just kind of helps because, especially I think with the younger generation who is on TikTok, they don't want to talk to anyone. They don't want to get on the phone. I mean, I very rarely have people who actually call me. I mean, I still do, and I'll answer. I answer every phone call, even the spam ones, because you never know. But most people want to just kind of do everything online, not talk to anyone, autofill everything, just click a button. So the simpler you can make it for people, the better. And also like Google Forms for people. I mean, you think of it that it's a way to contact someone, I put it on there.
There's no way not to be able to contact. If you Google your name or you go anywhere, any sort of social platform, it is super easy to find you. And I've actually noticed that not everyone is up to date on having their contact info. Sometimes it is hard to find someone's contact info. They could, a lot of times it's realtors who it's like, this is impossible to find a way to contact you. So I think that's awesome. You have that set up. And I want to give our listeners and viewers a roadmap to start this and how you can integrate TikTok, really short form videos into lead generation. We all know, guys, it is uncomfortable to be in front of the camera and talk, but I promise you, you guys will get used to it. It's not going to be something that's going to feel natural and great in one video, but it's going to be consistent. You're going to have to show up and practice, and you're going to have to get that down to a system. So get in front of that camera and start today. We're going to give you a roadmap right now. So Joe, if you're a brand new realtor or not even a brand new realtor, but someone who's brand new to short form video and social media, what is the first thing that you would do? Like, is there a specific video format type? What is just the first thing that you would do?
Yeah. So I think the first thing I would do is number one, don't be super overwhelmed by all the different platforms because there's a million of them and they all kind of want different things at the same time. And you're not going to cater to every audience. So I think especially with video, if you make it on, I would focus on TikTok personally, just because I like it. You have a better chance to go viral than that of Facebook and Instagram Reels, just because of the way like the For You page works. And then you can kind of take that and download it without the watermark and put it across everything else. So focus on TikTok. From there, kind of focus on, they talk about building your client avatar in a lot of business planning seminars for real estate and pretty much any coaching program that you join. So kind of build your avatar, kind of see who you want to work with, who you don't. And then from there, I would just pick one type of video, like exactly what you're doing, and just try to make that every single day for a month. See where your traction's at. Like we talked about the living in. Do that.
What are
See for
some
a
other
month.
videos? I'm sorry to break into you, but
Yeah. Some other videos. I mean, you could do top places to eat. So like all the food pages that you see everywhere, it's mindless scrolling. People are just watching. So I think that's a great one, especially for like large areas. Like you don't know. I mean, obviously you have the chain restaurants, but like if you start highlighting like the mom and pop businesses, and then you kind of get in there with them, that like, okay, this isn't a chain, but like, hey, I made you this video. You have the one that pops off, or someone that says, hey, I found you from Alex's TikTok and I came and want to try it out. Now that business is more likely to send you referrals because, hey, this guy's helping me out. He's throwing me a bone. I mean, you can't expect them to go in, hey, I'm going to make you a video. How many followers do you have? 50, but I want $500 for a video. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Plus, you can't guarantee unless you start paying for the views that you're going to get them a certain outcome on it. So just building that relationship and kind of doing it for free. Maybe they throw in something free to eat. I mean, that's nice. It's already, but you're not in it for that. And I think you have to have that mindset at the same time that you're not in it for the short term game. You're in it for the long run, because building the clientele, building your sphere of influence, building your basic clients, and then just constantly nurturing them and staying on top of them is the most important thing. And I know a lot of people do different things, but if they follow you in TikTok, or they follow you on another social platform that you reposted this video, now you're going to constantly be hitting them every single day. So you're going to see your face, you're going to see your name. They might not be ready to buy right now, or in 5 years, but in 10 years, they might want to buy a $5 million house. Guess who they're going to call?
Yep. So circling back, and that's a really great point. And there's avenues with these videos that you guys would never even think of, and who could get in front of. So let's circle back to video. So pick a video format. Could be best food in my town, living in this city, ranking videos, ranking, the top coffee shops in whatever city, whatever you guys want to do, however you can relate it to the area that your market is in. What's the next step after that?
Yep. So I would try to make at least, you make that one, make the post, download it. So there's apps like Snaptic, and you can just Google like TikTok downloader without watermark. Download it, then post it across all your social platforms at the same time. I would just use the same hashtag. That's what I use. Just post it across everything and just be consistent with it. So now that you have it going out there, and in the beginning, anyone that comments, comment back to them, because the more comments it has, the better. And you just want to be able to get out there and be seen. Another thing you can kind of do is maybe play with the times that you post, because you are a newer account if you're just getting into it. So I found, the best time for me in the beginning was 1 o'clock, because it was like right after lunch. I could make the video real quick, post it. And it was kind of during like my follow-up time, because I was making phone calls at the time. So it was just easy, post it across everything. And then I had like the rest of the day to answer. So that's pretty much what I would do in terms of like the roadmap for it, and maybe alternate the videos. Like you can maybe pick 3 to 5 different videos, make them like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, restart Saturday, and just kind of see what starts to gain the most traction. Start to make more of those videos, but you still have to have a nice variety of videos, because you are kind of talking about different things in real estate, and different things apply to different people. It's not like there's a guy named Force Auto Reviews on TikTok who just reviews cars, but he has the same exact style to every video, but he kind of mixes it up and mixes and matches based on the kind of vehicle that he's doing. So like he just made one on a Porsche GT3 RS, completely different than he would make the video on an Escalade, but same kind of style, and people kind of resonate with that.
And Joe, tell me again, how many leads per day you're getting off of social media and TikTok?
So social media, TikTok, everything in general, between 10 to 20 leads per day.
Wow. That is unreal.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, if you don't like texting people and being on your phone all day, I would not do it, because it's all day long.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
That is. And preparing for that, because you have to be prepared to take on that many leads. So like we said, and like you kind of, build off for people, make sure you have your systems in place. Make sure you have a way to track your leads as they come in, and make it easy for people to contact you guys. If they're on your TikTok and they go check out your page, make sure you have your number, your info, your website, a link tree, building out a million different ways to contact you. And this is something you told me on our convo. They could write you a letter in the mail, and you go back and forth in the mail, and that would not matter to you.
Which is you want to send me a messenger? What do we talk about? Faxes too? I don't know what's in a fax, but I'll find out how to do it. Just fax you back.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So, all right, and then nurturing, because I know you do this. You have a newsletter you send out. So once you have someone's info or email, you do a weekly custom and not something that's automated, a custom newsletter. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yep. So everyone in my database that have their email, they get put on our weekly email. So we send it out every Thursday, and I handwrite it every week. So kind of update all the stats on it. I have pretty much all Florida stats across the board in terms of housing and real estate, whether you're investing, first time home buyer, across the board, up into the millions. And I want to make sure everyone's kind of covered. They can get all the information that they're needed. It's broken out by segment. Then I write specific articles within that newsletter, just quick blurbs, kind of bullet point. No one wants to read the story on an email, just about fun things that you can go do in Florida that weekend or big events that are happening. So, like for example, they're going through a redevelopment in Fort Lauderdale. They're calling it Pier 66. So they're kind of redoing everything over near the Bahia Mar, and they're putting in a new marina, new condos, new hotel, as well as condo hotels. So kind of let people know about that. And then like our last one was about the South Beach Food and Wine Festival. So just letting everyone know that that's out there and things to do. And like, I hope that when I put the events out there, that people go to it who saw the email, then they see me at it, because now it's just another touch point. So now you're seeing me every day on social media. You're seeing me once a week in the email, and now you're seeing me out in public. Like, oh, okay, this guy's really out there. He's really doing it. This isn't like some fluff piece.
Yeah, I love that. Awesome. So and what's the site or platform you use to send those out?
Yep. So I was using Constant Contact, and then I work with my mom in real estate, and she was able to find what's called Flowdesk, FLO Desk, and it's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, and it's cheaper. So
Glow
kind of went
Desk.
with that.
Awesome. So guys, get the systems built out. Build out the nurture systems. Build out the drips. Do not use automation if you don't have to. If you can spend the extra, how long does it take you, would you say, to write that newsletter?
Oh, well, I already made the TikTok tonight before usually, so about like 5 minutes. I just watch my TikTok and write down all the points I talked about.
There
That's
you go.
another thing. Whatever the article's on, I make a TikTok about it too, and then I link the TikTok in it. So like, some people don't like to read, so if you put it in there, it makes it just that much easier. Whatever touch point I can get, I'll take.
Awesome. And this just shows, guys, that the minimal amount of time effort can get you a great outcome. So even if it's not a 10-hour investment a day. We're talking about 2 to 3 hour investment at
If
the
that,
start, right? At the start, because it's probably
yeah.
going to take you like a million tries to figure out like, oh, I recorded this, it looks like crap, or it doesn't sound right, or accidentally
But
deleted
that's
the
another
whole
thing. You don't even have
recording.
to worry about it. Like most people like worry in fits and futs about like, oh, it's not perfect. Like nobody cares. It's an 8 second video on a video app that people are just scrolling. Like
Yep.
they're not going to notice your edits. It's not HBO. We just get it out there.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And I think that's kind of the mindset people need to break free from it. I'm guilty of it, especially when I first started, because I'm like, oh, I hate the way I sound. What am I doing? This is not right. But I think that's a great point you make is, hey, don't worry about it so much. Get the content out there, post it. It's not as deep as you think it is. No one is over analyzing every single thing you say or how you sound. So just get that content out there, give it moving along, and you will feel better and more comfortable every time. It's like going to practice. It's like the
Yeah.
beginning is like going to two a days, man. It's like start it. At the end of the day, man, you just want to curl over and you're done. So,
Yeah. And the coaches are the people commenting and they're the ones complaining. But the more they comment, the better. So it's
there you
still a
go.
win-win.
There you go, man. Awesome. So, really one quick I want to go over because this is the mindset of a leader. Dude, your daily routine is something of the very small percentage of this population. Give me a breakdown, man, from wake up to day end, kind of what your routine is. And I want everyone listening to know that this is what this guy is doing. Joe Vairo, he is a boss. Just tell me what your daily routine is, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's definitely exhausting, I'll tell you that. But I wake up, first thing in the morning, either between 5:30 to about 6:30, depending on what we have going on that day. The first thing I do is, I know they say not to do it, but I check my phone and I answer like all the emails, all the texts, all the DMs, like everything that I possibly can. Cause I'm like, all right, I gotta knock this out, get this done, and then go work out. I'm like, I don't have to worry about it. But then of course, like there's people who are up and they're like, oh, sweet, he's up. Like undivided attention. So at the gym, usually try to do like a lift in the morning with some light cardio. Get back, sometimes eat breakfast, sometimes not, sometimes, most of the times, just an energy drink and then breakfast. Answer more emails, phone calls, texts. Then I start with anything that I have to contact, like a title company or someone who's like got normal hours that I can't contact outside. Any issues from that evening prior, get on top of that first thing in the morning, make sure that everything's we're good to go. Everything's going as smoothly as possible. From there, I start making TikToks. I usually try to make TikToks between 8 to 12. I also make a lot of them, as long as some long form video content. And then about noonish, I'll have lunch. And if things are a little light and I don't have to go to showings, I'll go work out again. If not, I kind of push it back to later in the day. So I go to CrossFit then or go for a run with the dog. Then from there in the afternoon, usually it's showings and or listing appointments. Go do all of that. Try to make, as of recently, been trying to make more content out and about at places. For the most part, I've been using the green screen effect, and that's been pretty good. But I want to kind of get out there and start doing some more things out in the field, like we talked about. And you've had a great idea of it, of being out there and doing the street interviews too.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to incorporate that more and more. It's just harder to scale because, like, if I make them in the morning, I can make 8 to 9 videos in 4 hours and kind of fine tune it along with a long form. Well, if I have to go somewhere, I can make 1 or 2.
Right.
So that's the hard part if I don't have showings. From there, usually the busiest time of the day, it's probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock to about midnight, because this is when everyone's getting off work. Everyone wants to see something and everyone wants to call and talk to you. So I kind of try to set that time aside. And I know most people are like, oh no, you got to shut it off at 5 o'clock. Well, if everyone else is shutting it off at 5 o'clock and I'm up all night answering, who's going to get the business?
Yeah.
So kind of do with that. And mind you, I'm eating this entire time. I forgot to say that, but then I eat dinner. Usually try to just research some more ideas, kind of stay on top of the market at that point. And I've been reading a little bit more. So I've been trying to read about 10 pages of a nonfiction every night, part of that 75 hard. And just kind of really answering any questions with people, especially when you're doing TikTok videos and videos on social media, you have people from different time zones calling you. So that's the biggest thing. And like, I used to be a very early to bed guy at like 9 o'clock because, there's nothing for me to do. I don't play video games that much. I play Madden. So I'm like, all right, what am I going to do? All right, I'll go to bed. And then realizing that if I'm the only person up or I'm one of the few people up and I'm answering, because most people shut it off, it gave me that competitive edge on top of my videos. And now I have time to answer comments and all that and kind of help propel my business at the same time.
That's awesome, man. What a day, what a routine. I think a lot of us aspire to do that routine and to do something similar, even if it is less intensive. I know a lot of you guys might be newer to working out or it might be hard, but like, this is something that has not been built overnight. Joe has been an athlete his whole life, and it comes natural to him. It's something he really enjoys to do. And this ties back into mind, body, finance, really connecting your spiritual self with your body. And even if it's just going on a long walk, even 30-minute walk around your neighborhood, make sure you're wearing your marketing gear for your business. But even if it's just going for a long walk, that can even do tremendous amount to your business and helping you stay healthy. So I thought this was an awesome podcast and episode. I think you guys are going to have a lot of value out of this. Take it and copy the success of others. So take what Joe said and literally put it into your business, and you guys will see results. I've done that. I talked to Joe. I've been doing that, and I've seen success from this. So just copy what he's doing, and I promise you guys will see outcome from it.
Definitely.
So Joe, how did people find you? Because everyone's going to want to contact you or look you up and kind of see what you're doing. What is the best way to contact you or look at your social media?
Shoot, whatever one you want to go on, you just look up Joe Vairo. I promise you, I'll be on there. You can DM me, comment on something, whatever you want to get in contact with me, I'll get back to you. You can email me, phone call, Text. Text is usually the easiest, and like I'll respond to that most like right away. You can have me on Snapchat if people have me on Snapchat to talk. So I mean, Facebook, Instagram. Honestly, whatever's easiest for you. I know people have their dislikes and things they do like. So whatever's easiest for people. All my things for social media are at the QB15. The only one that's different because it was taken is TikTok. It's at the QB11. So
Okay.
yeah.
There you go. So
So
at
everything
the
else is pretty consistent.
QB11 on TikTok. And just for you guys who don't know how to spell Joe's last name, it's Vairo. So if you're just listening in with no, visual in front of you. So all right, well, I think that was it, man. Any last point, anything else? I think this was a great episode.
Yeah, I don't think that's really anything else. I mean, the proof's in the pudding. I mean, look, you've already started to see it. It's just being consistent with it. That's the biggest thing. It's literally football and working out. That's what business is.
I agree, man. It's like Mark Cuban's book, How to Win at the Sport of Business. It's all like a a sport, man. Well, everything's like a sport. So
100%.
cool. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening to this episode. Stay tuned for more coming up. And that's a wrap.
Thank you.